So I will continue. Yes, I will continue from the yesterday. What I have stopped from there itself. Okay. So yeah. So yesterday I have created one of the API object, guys, web API object by going through this web API object here. Okay. So selected the template. Okay. So and also I showed you right yesterday we can't able to write more than 4,000 characters in this expression editor in the web API. And also if you can see here web API URL got generated and whatever the endpoint I have provided that will be concatenating to the base URL at the end. Okay. At the end it will got concatenated. T4 hello world. This is what we have provided while creating the web API. Okay, the URL will also got generated. Okay, so now we need to discuss about this function, guys. Okay, what about this function called HTTP response? So if you want to display the response from the API, you have to use this HTTP response, guys. Okay, using this HTTP response, we have three types of parameters are available in this HTTP response. Okay, one is the status code. So status code is nothing but so for every validation error or else if you are providing invalid input, so the input is expecting integer, but you are providing the text value. So at that time, we are not supposed to restrict the user. We will take the input and we will throw the validation message called uh, unsuccessful status code like 404 402 like that error we will status code we will show guys and validation message has it. So by defaultly status code 200 which indicates the successful. Okay, so you want me to show clearly about the status codes? Yep. Hmm, the headers HTTP methods headers. Yeah, you can see here, these are the few status codes they have written here. So other than this, we have other status codes as well. Okay, if we are hitting the base URL, so when it returns 404, that means though there is no web API associated with this endpoint and the HTTP method. So HTTP method in the sense, see here, you can see here method we have by default selected the get method. Get method, we don't have the request body, guys. Okay, I will show you post method as well. When we selected the post method, we have the additional input got added called request body. For the get method, we don't have the request body. Okay, so this is the URL, this is the method. Okay, so in the HTTP response, so these are the few status codes that the API will return. Okay, so now going back to the other parameter called uh, headers, guys. So why we will use the headers? So headers are used to display the additional information along with the response. Okay, see here. So it is also we will configure name and value pairs that contains the information about the request and your browser. Okay, so we will use this headers to pass the additional information to the users. So nothing but so if the user is passing the JSON data, so we will show that as a JSON data structure like that headers we will provide. So now, so the basic headers we can configure here it is. Yes, here you can see. So in the headers, what we can configure, we have the HTTP header function we will configure guys. Okay, HTTP header. In the HTTP header, we have the name and value. So name. So here in the documentation they have provided, right? So headers allows you to pass the additional information with the response. Appian will automatically send several response headers, including the content length, date, server. You can pass additional headers as needed. When the document is returned in the body, two headers are automatically added: content type and content disposal. Okay, so these are the names of the headers. So we can pass this content type. Value should be if we are passing JSON data, we will provide like application slash JSON, something like that. For understanding the user, this was the JSON data. So headers are used for displaying the additional information to the users, guys. That I will show you, no need to worry. So whatever we have mentioned in the body, so that will be our HTTP response from the base URL. Okay. So now if you want to test this request, you have to click on this test request here. See, test results are status code 200 because of we have added the success status code 200, right? So if there is any request body is there, based on that body details, we will update the status codes. I mean, we will return the status codes. Okay. As of now, status code 200 means successful response. And the headers here you can see headers name what I have provided here, content type, and the value should be the applications list JSON. So this I have for the example purpose I have written here, but this is not a JSON data. Okay. And the body should be whatever we have mentioned in the body that should be written. So this is the basic API, guys. Get API. We have displayed the uh, hello world as a text. So if you want to modify this, uh, you can modify here and uh, you can test this here. Yes. So yeah. Okay, guys. So now I'm saving this. So this is the API URL we have created, guys. So now I will quickly show you how to test this through the external system. So if you want to test these APIs, API and web APIs, uh, before giving to the third party system or external system, so we usually test through the Postman, guys. Okay. So you can download the Postman software from the external browser. So it is a free tool. We does not require any license or the paid. Okay. So yeah, give me a second, guys. I'll quickly log in.
Hello.
Yeah, 1 second, and I'm logging in. Wait. Yes, yes, guys. I have logged in successfully. So guys, this is how the postman, when you logged in, the landing page, this is how it's look like. So I will show you how to configure here. Okay. Need to hide. Okay, I have hidden it. Okay, guys. So if you want to test your developed API URLs from the APN, so you have to you can use this Postman tool, guys. So whenever you log into the Postman, here in the right side, my workspace is there, right? Under this my workspace and collections, go to the collections. So here you can add a new collection. Okay. So I will add a blank collection here. So under this blank collection, yeah, you can rename. You can rename this collection to the T4 train application. Okay. So under this collection, you can add a new request, guys, by clicking on this add request. So when you click on the add request, so here you can see. So I want to add a Hello World program. So I'm labeling my request name as a Hello World here. So then if you can select the method, whatever the method type you want to hit, you can select the method type here. So you can see our method type is the get here, right? So I'm selecting the get here. Okay. And it is asking me to provide the URL. So now I have to copy this URL and going to here and I'm pasting the URL guys here. Okay. So now what we need to do, we don't need to pass any parameters or the headers body. Headers, if you want to pass, you can pass, or else response, it will return from the response itself. So we need to authorize it, guys. Before authorization, I try to hit this URL. See, title authentication failed. See, whenever I try to hit this base URL, so it is saying authentication failed. So what I have to do now? I have to give the authentication. For giving the authentication, we have this type of authentications are there. Okay. So now here, I want to provide the API key authentication. Here is the API key. See here, we have the API key authentication is there. Okay. As we said yesterday, so for the API key, we need to provide the key and the value. So key name should be the APN API key. This is the key name. Okay. So I have provided you. So when you are giving for your environment as well, you have to provide the same thing here. Where is that? See here. API key name, not a header name. Key name should be APN hyphen API hyphen key. And this is the API key value, EY Joy. So this is the same API key which I have configured earlier. So this I have generated previously, guys. So I'm using this same. So we can generate once and we can reuse n number of times. Okay. Now we have provided the API key, right? So now we are trying to hit the API URL. Okay. Heads up. I have no spaces here. No spaces. Authentication, please check your credentials. UTC. Yeah, UTC is on the bill. Yeah. There is no way to check is this is working or not, guys. This API key. See, authentication failed. Please check your credentials. Yeah, yeah. So we will generate the API key then, or else we can use this basic authentication as well if you want to use. So it is not the recommended way. We have to use the API key authentication only. So for that, what we need to do is we have to know the users.
Ganesh, how we got to know that which authentication type we need to use it?
Yeah, so while providing the API keys, right? So we will provide the clear documentation for the API key. Okay. At that time, we will provide the water query parameters, headers, and the request type, and the body, and the base URL, and the authentication details as well. So from that API documentation itself, we will get to know all these details. Okay, I'm generating the API key, guys. Let's see. Is it work or not? It will work or not. Let's see. Going to the web API authentication tab. Yeah, I have to add this member in the service account group to generate the API key. Yes, we have received this. Yeah, creating the API key. Yeah, copy the new API key now. You will not have another chance to view it. Okay, so this is hot. Copy to clipboard. Okay, going to our here and add this new API key. Okay, now going to here. Okay. Yeah. Starting with EY, Joy, and last with different. Okay. So now try to hit this one. Let's see. Will it allow? 404. 404. It is. 404 issue we received, guys. Okay. And the body, we have not configured. Headers, we will try to provide headers which we have configured. Whatever we have configured, like try to pass that. Mm, then die. Really, if they will return, we are not supposed to give this. Yeah, same as the phone not hello world. We don't want to pass this parameters. We are not passing anything. Authorization we have given successfully. Key header add to header query parameters. We generated when you send the request. Learn about the API key authorization. So as we see here, 404. There is no web API. There is no web API with the specified endpoint and HTTP method. We have saved this now. We have tested this now. This. Yes. There is no API specified with this endpoint. Yeah. Application view, complete documentation, created by you. We will save this. Yeah, okay. Now send this. No. Word, word. Okay. No word. Okay, guys. We will create another API and we will test this out. Okay. If this is also face the same issue, then we'll see. Okay. So I'm creating a new web API, guys. I want to show the details. Okay. Meeting details I want to display. Okay. So for that, I want to use the query record type template here. Okay. The method will be the same. Get method. And the record name I'm providing T4 meeting details. Yeah, T4 meeting. Select the record type you want to query. I'm selecting T4 meeting. So now API underscore get get meeting details. Okay, details get method. So now I'm providing meet details. Okay, not underscore hyphen details. Okay, like this. I'm providing the endpoint. So see, do not enable logging for this web API if you sends to data in the request and returns the sends to data in the response. Okay, clicking on create. Will be users administrator as administrator permission. Now quickly save this and let's test this guys. Okay. Yeah, yeah, if you can see here in the query record type, it is querying the 1 to 50 rows, guys. Okay. In the HTTP response, if you can see here in the HTTP response, content type application slash JSON. So it will return the JSON data. Okay. And it is converting to 2JSON as well. The local bank records in the body. See, see here, 50 rows got written. So, but data is not removed. So now what we need to do? We have to query the fields as well, right? So here we have for the fields, we have you can use a bank selection fields under the selection fields, all fields from record type. True. I'm passing. So now you can see all the rows of data, all rows with all the fields data. Okay.
Instead of true, we need to give record type name.
Yes. The record type and related record type query. Okay. Okay. You can pass this here. Yeah. Now we can see all the data. So now we will save this. Changes are got saved. And now we will quickly copy this URL. I'm going to here, add a new request by clicking on these three dots and add request. Okay. Under this add request, we can add the basic. Give me details and point I have added headers I don't want. Authorization. Inherit from parent. Let's see. Will it inherit or not? Authentication failed. Okay. It also throwing the same issue. Let me test this other API, guys. Give me a second. Now send this up. It is got fetching. But why it is not catching here? Already we have not passed anything. API key. Add a request. Now I will pass our URL here. Okay. And authorization. API key authorization. And then this is the new API key. Yes, new API key. Yeah, nice. Instead of this, we'll create a from scratch, guys. Okay, creating from scratch. So now I will provide post method here. Oh, here. Okay. Okay. Details. Okay, creating. Mm, mm, Save changes. Try again. So here you can see, guys. For the post method, we have the body as well there. Okay. So I'll explain what is meant by query parameters and path variables. You don't need to worry. So yeah, local variables, local data. This data we have already created a rule to query the data, right? So I'm using that rule here. Your meeting details, ID as of now, and personal here. Okay. And here we need to pass HTTP response. HTTP response status code. We'll pass 200 headers. As of now, I don't want to pass anything. Body, I will pass 2 JSON. JSON, local data, non-test request. Yeah, we have the data now. To save this, copy URL, going back to here, uh, add a new request. Yes, here we need to pass our URL authorization, direct from the API key. So this is the new API key, sending this. Nice, same error. What we have missed here, something is we have missed case here. Key. Not specified endpoint. I don't. Okay, we are adding the post here, but we are not the get method here. Nice, nice. The post. Add a new request here. Yeah. VXW. VXW. Okay. Specified point. Mm. There is no API with a specified endpoint and HTTP method. Uh-huh. Specified endpoint. Move details. Details. Method. Parameters. Routing. The response sent from the API contains special characters. These characters may display as a question mark. Okay. Reusing the web API. Modifying properties. Execute the web API administrators. Okay. There is the user is okay. Shit. The user is not in the viewer role or okay. Guys, we forgot one key point here. So that user. So guys, what happened now? So we have to add this user. Okay. We have to add this user into our application groups. Then only we can be able to access our API URLs. Okay. So adding the user to our groups. And now going back to our header world, test the request. Yeah, now you can see here the output from our APN to the external system we can able to pull. So these are all the meeting details. You can see these are the meeting details API URL. Okay. So this we have created a post. So it is also successfully returned the responses. You got my point, right? Hello, Manjur.
Yeah, got it, got it.
Yeah, you got it right. How to configure the authorization here and the method details and the base URL. Yeah. That is how we usually pass the details, guys, to the external system. So now what we can do is we will create a day, get details, get meeting details, hello world. Okay, all these things we have created. So guys, now I will explain how to pass the data from the body. Okay, so we have the body. Okay, from the body we need to pass the data. So from the body itself, we will able to pass the data as a JSON format. Okay, so now here, if you can see here, I'm passing this as a ID column 1. Okay, so I'm passing the body ID 1. So if I pass ID as a 1 from the body, I have to filter the data only. So how can I get the body data into the expression editor? If you want to get the data from the body, you have to use the HTTP request dot body. You can see using the HTTP request, you can get the form data, headers, path segments, query parameters, and the URL as well. So as of now, we are discussing about the request body. So now I'm fetching the request HTTP request dot body dot ID. Whatever the key here, I'm passing the ID. So now, instead of fetching all these details, the filter, what will it do? It will fetch the value only. So here you can see cannot index type of text into the text. So what you need to do, you have to convert this to the two integer. Let's see, will it work? So nice. Cannot index of type text into type text. Internal server error. There was an error highlighting about the result of the expression evaluation. What a HTTP response object. Instead of 1, I will pass 26. Let's test this out. Let's see what is the from request body, what the input we are receiving. 500 internal error and we are receiving. We will remove this to JSON. Okay, now I understood. So if you want to validate your JSON in online tool, we have the JSON validator, guys. Okay, going to the JSON validator online and formatter. From here, you can validate JSON which we have given. Yeah, JSON. This JSON is a validated JSON. You can see here why this is throwing up. So we'll quickly yeah, sure. So we'll copy the rule from here and paste it here. Shove none. I'm passing 1 here. Now test this rule. So here if you can see, yeah, we can able to fetch the data. So now here, here. So going back to the rule here. Okay, okay, I got it now, guys. So why this is issue occurs in the sense, so we are receiving the JSON data, right? If you want to index the JSON data, what you have to do? You have to convert the JSON to the Appian value, okay, from JSON. So you have to convert this to the Appian value, and then once it is got converted, you can index. You can index local bank body, comma, ID, comma, null. Okay. And then you can pass the local bank data here. Okay. So yeah, we are passing the JSON request right here. So from the body, it is allowing to pass the JSON format only. So now let's see. We have converted to the Appian value and index the ID, and we are passing the ID to the filter. So now let's see it will fetch the data or not. So now you can see here, guys, ID 26 data got fetched here, right? So what I want to convey here it is, guys. So if you are passing the JSON data, you have to convert this JSON to the Appian value, and then we can index the data and we can fetch the data from the our Appian. Okay. So now we have created the post API, right? Post URL, right? So now what I can do is I will try to test the same thing. So we have three APIs here. So going to the last URL. So in this last URL, this is the post method. Going to the body here. So under this body, you have to select the raw. Okay. Because form data we are not passing. Form data and URL encoded we are not passing. We are passing the raw data. Okay. In this raw data, I'm posting the HTTP request.body here. Yes. So ID colon 1. Okay. So yoga details I have to fetch here. So you can see here, created by, modified on, location, modified by, all these details we have successfully fetched. Okay. So now we can save this by using the save option here. So when you reload this as well, it will fetch correctly. Okay. So we will save this, all these things. It is saved. We'll save this as well. Yeah, we have saved this as well. So now, same like that. Same like that. What I can do now here is, guys. So I will create a query parameter. Okay. So do you want me to know the query parameters? So I have added the definition here. Okay, reloading. So if you can see here, guys, query parameters. Basically, query parameters are also name and value pairs that appear in the request URL after a question mark. So that means if you can go to here, so here, if you want to add a query parameter, you need to provide the name and value. So the name should be meet ID. I will provide meet ID and the value I am passing 24. Okay. So we have added the name and value, right? Query parameter. So this will be appear after the endpoint You can see question mark and the query parameter name and the value. Query parameter name and the value. So query parameters are nothing but the URL parameters, like that we can able to say. Okay. So from this query parameters as well, we can send the data to the expression editor and we can perform the operations. See, it is nothing but the URL parameters. I said na URL parameters, which we will use to get the parameter values from the user to the filter to the URLs, to filter the URLs. So instead of local bank body and indexing, so you can get the query parameters as well. Local bank param. Okay. So how I can get using HTTP request, a bank HTTP request dot see, query parameters. See, we have the, instead of body, we will have the query parameters as well. So query parameters dot, whatever the query parameter name we have provided, right? So those name we need to provide here. Okay. Once we have provided, so we can, instead of body ID, I can directly pass the local bank param here. Okay. So when I pass the param here, 24 details I need to fetch here. Meeting ID 24 details. So now I'm sending the request here. So it is got sending. See, now we can see status code 200. And if we can see meeting ID 24 details got fetched. And the URL parameters got concatenated here. So if you want to pass, you can pass. Otherwise, if you can pass null value as well, it won't be an issue. So it will fetch all the details. Because if you pass the filter value, it will fetch a filtered value only. If you have not passed that value, it will fetch all the values. Like that only we have designed the rule. Okay. So now what I can do, I can save this and I will show you how to test this from the Postman as well. Okay. So now for this URL, base URL, you need to pass the params, right? So for the first tab, you have the params are there, guys. Okay. These are the params. And for the params, we need to provide the whatever the parameter name we have given in our Appian web API. So now I'm providing the meet ID here and the value should be 13. Okay, 13 I'm passing here and sending the request. At a time we are sending both body and the parameters. So it will pick parameter value because of we have passed the parameter ID in the filtered. So now you can see by passing the parameter, you can see after question mark, you can see the parameter name and the value. So the query parameters are got concatenated with the URL and fetch the filtered value. So this is like also we can pass the values to the URLs from the query parameters. Okay. So we have the path segment, guys. Okay, we have the paths. Yeah, path variables. See, path variables, the part of the URL that comes after the endpoint. Path variables. For example, when requesting this type of URL, the path is the tutorial slash path. So if you want me to show you, I can show you. See, this is the path, guys. So I will add path called subject. Submitting at 24 details got fetched and the path got added here. Okay, path variables. So basically, we will use this path for uh, part of the URL that comes after the endpoint. So if you want to add a path here, you can use this path. This will concatenate after the endpoint. Okay, so the main agenda of this path is to, we'll see. Uh, 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 okay, logging, sharing, web API, troubleshooting is there. So these are the warnings, guys. These are the recommendations. These are the suggestions. These are the unused local variables, like that of validations. You can able to see common validation for expression rule and web API as well as same. Okay. So if you guys can see here, I have not written any piece of code. I'm just configuring the URLs. Okay. You don't need to confuse. Yeah, here path segments. Okay. Path segments which comes under a list of text where each item in the list correspond to the segment URL for the incoming request separated by the slashes. The first item in the list will be selection to the URL immediately follows to the endpoint because of this wrapped variant. Okay, we'll always return one. To get this designer field list count cast of HTTP request for path segments. Okay, so if you want to pass the data, path segments. So get requests, customer HTTP request will be the following. URL will be this path segments and customer and this. So HTTP request dot query parameters dot customer ID we need to use to fetch the query parameter value and the path segment is 5. Okay. URL path segment is 5. So if you want to fetch the path segment value here like this, you have to fetch the path segment value customer ID. Okay. URL, where is the base URL? So up to now, this is the base URL, guys. Okay. Web API slash customer. This is the base URL. So this is the base URL slash 5. So if you want to fetch the path segment value 5, you can use HTTP request dot path segment in square braces of 1. First row 5 will be there. Okay. So this is what they have mentioned here. So if you want to correspond list of correspond segments to the URL incoming separated and by forward slashes. If you can add multiple path segments, you can add and all these will be separated with the forward slash. So yes. Okay. So from the path as well, we can fetch the value same like here we are fetching from the query parameters, right? So same like that we can fetch the path variables as well. Okay. By fetching the path variables, you can pass to your filter. If you want to pass, you can filter HTTP request dot path segments. So I will pass path segment as 5 here. Okay. Now same like that one I will pass here. Okay. Instead of local bank param, I can directly get the path variable, right? So I will pass the path variable. Local bank path I will pass directly here and try to fetch the data from the meeting details rule. So I have to fetch the loading. If you can see here, it returns the status code as a 200 and the fifth meeting ID details here from the path segments. So it is now got and encoded with the details slash 5. So the user will understand if you pass 5, it will fetch the meeting ID 5 details. So it is also there, but we are not using this query parameter values. So it will be no issue if we pass all these at a time. Okay. So I am setting these values as a default test values. So when you reload this as well, these values will be still holding to the expression editor. So now we have seen, right? So if you want to pass headers instead of that function, you can pass a new header and the value name from here as well by using the headers component. So here I will pass content type, and type. So I'm passing content type as a application slash JSON. So this is nothing but the keyword which we are using to uh, understand the user. We are returning the JSON data. So now if you can see here, headers are null as of now. See, nice. Headers are null, but it is not fetching from here itself. Headers. Okay. So now save this and test this same URL from the web Postman, guys. Now test this internal server error. Internal server error. So we have to pass URL like how meet details slash file meet details slash file, and then so now we have fetched the so our content type it is written here, content length it is written, trace ID it is written, content security is written, content type it is not written. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. Okay, sorry guys. We have to after querying this, we have to configure this in the headers as well. Okay. So how we will configure this in the headers by using the headers function, maybe HTTP header, maybe HTTP header. From this header name I provide HTTP request dot headers. Okay, headers dot name. Okay, and value HTTP request dot headers dot value. Like that, I will try to get this. Let's see. I'm fetching the header content details as well. Yeah, I know. Name issued. Okay. Value. ABANG HTTP header. Name of the parameter should not be null. So let's see how we will fetch this headers. Content type application slash encoded. Okay. So instead of using this function, what we can do is we will call this headers directly here. Headers and test the request. Why it is not fetching headers? Okay. headers. Post request headers are there. So we have seen how to pass from the expression editor, but we have to check from the here from the default headers they have given, right? Uh, Information. This will be the URL. Body request contains ID and the name and the first purchase and the current type of header with the value. Okay. And the value of the request will be the following. Header should be the content type and application just JSON. Please click on this ones and click on this ones. Okay. Okay. Form data we have given, body we have given, headers we have given, headers we have provided like this. So it should be written like this, right? Okay. Have it written here. No. Z. No, we have headers. Headers details are there, guys. Somewhere it will be shown. In headers only it will show. Header content layout. Okay. Cookies, body. Headers it will display. Headers should not be null. Okay. Headers. A list of headers for the response built with headers value set using ABM SCS field will be ignored. SCS field. Okay. CS field. External system key and the field is okay. We have to use this case. Headers. So if I can pass from here content hyphen type. So the value I will pass even is to equals dot headers. Let's see. Now it is showing. So the value of the you guys can see here. So by using this only we can able to show dot content type we can't use of dot content type it won't allow. Yes, I know. So this is how we will display guys header values. Okay. We have to provide the name and the value we can fetch from the headers as well dynamically. Okay. You can save this here. What else? You can test this here. So going back to the headers, from the headers, yeah, you can see here content type. Under this content type, you can able to see this content related details. Oh, sorry, this is content type. Where is the content type then? So we
Ganesh,
have,
why these headers are important? Means why we need to map that?
so Pranali, why we use this headers in the sense to let the user know whether which data we are sending. So it is nothing but this is not a mandatory column. So this is which we use to pass the additional information to the user to understand the more details about the request. See, we are converting this to the JSON data and we are printing right output. So I was trying to explain this is the JSON data which you have received. See, this is encoded with the double quotes and the square flower braces, right? So this is the JSON data. You got my point. So for providing the
Yes.
user more details, then he will have more insights, right? So that's what.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Guys, I'm open for your questions. Do you have any questions on today's topic? So if you have any questions on previous day topic you want me to explain, or else you guys want to share the screen and show me where you have stuck.
Once could you please explain me about how to querying the data from the database in role? So just give me
Huh?
the
I didn't get you. Can you come again? You want me to show?
querying the fetching the data from the database.
Okay, querying the data from the database. So Pranali, so we have three types of functions are there to query the data from the database. Okay. So one of the function is the query record type, A-bank query record type. Okay. Using this query record type function, we can fetch the data from the database. Okay. By using the record type as the source. Here we need to provide the record type name for this function, query record type function, and the fields if you want to pass, you can pass, or else you can leave this. So most important parameters are we have to pass the paging info. Okay. Here you can see here in the query record type function. So we have the record type, fields, filters, paging info, page total count, and related record data. So in the paging info itself, you need to decide how many rows of data you want to fetch from where you need to fetch the data. So if you provide start index as 1, so what will it do? It will fetch from the first row from the database with the batch size, means total number of records you want to fetch. I want to fetch 5,000 records. In the database, I don't have the 5,000 records. I have only 35 items. So 35 items got received. So if I change this batch start index to the 10 to 5,000 records, it will fetch. It will skip first 10 rows and it is starts from the 11. Okay. If you can see ID is 1 here, right? So when it is got filtered or refreshed, so you can see the ID will be the 11 here. Okay. The ID will be the 10 here. Okay. From 10th row itself it is start fetching. Start index will be the 10th row. Okay, it is not skipping the 10th row. The start index will be the 10th row. From 10th row to the 5,000 records it will fetch. It will ignore the first 10 records. Okay, first 9 records it will ignore and start from the 10. So this is all additional things we required, but these are the two mandatory parameters you need to configure to fetch the data from the source.
One is through
See,
query record type. Second one is query from identifiers, correct?
yeah, query record type by identifier is also there and query entity is also there. Okay.
Entity. Okay.
Query
So
entity which is,
for a CDT, we are going to use entity, correct?
yeah, for CDT we will use the query entity.
Okay. So can't we use query entity for record type?
No, it will ask for the data store entity only. How we will pass the
Okay.
record type here? You
Okay.
can't,
Got
right?
it. Got it.
You need to
Yes.
pass the
Yes.
query entity only.
Got it.
So we do have the
That
query.
fields and filters you applied, na, that once explain me, na, the section why
Yeah, filters. See, if you have not
filters.
added the,
Yeah.
yeah, if you have not added the fields, so it is fetching only ID, right? if you added the
Hmm.
fields, it will fetch the, see, if I added the fields here, so it will fetch all the rows. All the
Okay.
rows for each
On the fields.
data set. Yeah, all the fields.
Hmm.
See, all the fields it is got fetched, right? So filters are nothing but, so instead of fetching all the rows, I want to fetch particular meeting ID 24 related data only I want to fetch. At that time, I will use this query filter to the field name and the operator and the equal to value. So now if
Hmm.
you can see 24 meeting ID is not there, then 21 we will fetch. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, you can see for the one meeting ID, only data got fetched, right? Instead of fetching 1 to 5,000 records, it is fetching only one row. That is filtered row, which we have passed the query filter here. In the query filter as well, you need to apply the field, operator, and the value. Field, which is nothing but which field you want to apply the filter. I want to apply the filter for meeting ID, and the operator will be equal to operator, and the value should be the ID.
Okay.
Array bank ID. From the rule input, we are passing the value to the query filter. So I have detailed you explain this query filter and selections and the query record type, query entity, and query record type by identifier. Okay.
And if we want only some particular columns, then that also we can achieve it, right? Means
Yeah,
here,
particular column.
uh,
Yeah, if you want
mm,
particular columns, you can apply fields here. Okay. In the fields, want me to show instead of all fields. So rejoin Pranali. Okay.